This is the Dallas Morning News. It's Monday, June 2nd. A mix of sun and clouds today with a good bit of heat and humidity in the DFW area. The high will be 92, mostly clear tonight with the humidity sticking around, and the overnight low will be 74. Here are today's headlines. State law would prohibit various protesting activities on public university campuses under a bill the Texas Legislature approved on Sunday. The bill would limit where and when students and university staff can protest on campus, prohibit the use of bullhorns in many instances, and bar protesters from wearing masks. The bill is a reaction to protests against the war in Gaza that occurred in May of last year and resulted in dozens of arrests at University of Texas campuses in Richardson and Austin. Governor Greg Abbott vowed to limit those protests after some students attempted to create camps akin to pro-Palestinian protests outside of Texas that garnered national attention. Both the House and Senate approved a negotiated version of the proposal. Senate Bill 2972 on the last day lawmakers can approve legislation during this year's legislative session. SB 2972 is a reversal of a 2019 law that required campuses to create uniform policies surrounding protests. That law was created under the belief that conservative voices were being silenced on college campuses. It required universities to allow anyone to protest on campus and deemed all common outdoor spaces as proper forums for freedom of expression. SB 2972 walks that back by now limiting speakers and protesters on campuses to members of a university community, a broad term the bill's author said would allow current and former students, faculty, staff, and students' families to demonstrate on campus. In other news, in 2026, music fans may head to McKinney to catch a show at a venue slated to host hundreds of thousands of attendees, national touring acts, and 70 shows a year in the Dallas suburb. Construction has begun in the city 30 miles north of Dallas on a $300 million, 20,000-seat open-air amphitheater, the result of a public-private partnership with Colorado-based entertainment and hospitality company VENU. The project has not come without some controversy surrounding the company, noise and traffic from its music venues, and a failed appeal by residents against VENU's amphitheater in Colorado. But McKinney and VENU officials hope the Collin County Amphitheater will put the growing city on the map as a live music landmark in North Texas. The project boasts memberships and suites for sale for hundreds and thousands of dollars, NFL Hall of Fame ties, and unique amenities. The amphitheater can seat up to 20,000 people at full capacity, according to a statement from the company, or about 5,000 in the colder months when partially enclosed. The amphitheater will have large fans to cool the open-air venue in the summer, as well as cooled turf. In the winter, the floors will be heated by a boiler system, and fire pits in VIP suites can be activated. Next up, the controversial STAAR test will be back next school year, along with 5 million public school students after a bill that would have eliminated the end-of-year exam died Sunday when House and Senate negotiators could not agree on how to replace it. The Texas House enthusiastically supported the bill in a 143-1 vote in mid-May that capped a raucous floor discussion featuring one lawmaker after another bashing the state of Texas assessments of academic readiness as stressful, unnecessary, and lacking educational value. Critical to that bill was the stipulation that the test be replaced with a series of 3 shorter exams administered throughout the school year that would compare those scores with a larger, representative group of students nationally. The House chamber went up in loud cheers when the bill passed. The celebration dimmed, however, when the Texas Senate passed a version that maintained the state's authority to administer a replacement statewide test overseen by the Texas Education Agency and, by extension, Education Commissioner Mike Morath. And Morton Meyerson may be best known for the symphony hall that bears his name, an IMPA masterwork of art and sound. but his influence on the city runs deep. As one of the main movers behind electronic data systems, Ross Perot's data processing company, he helped build the infrastructure of modern business. Meyerson has been called Perot's right-hand man and Perot's lieutenant, descriptions he rejects in part because, well, it makes him sound like a yes man, and Meyerson said no many times. Those terms also track too closely to the one great man theory of history, and Meyerson knows better than most that EDS was a collective, a team. Meyerson was a tough-minded business ace whose legacy happens to track alongside Perot's for about 30 years. He invented outsourcing a decade before it got that name. He presided over Perot Systems and a Wall Street brokerage and General Motors. That resume does not even touch on his philanthropy. Meyerson turns 87 tomorrow, and you can read about one of the last living lions of Silicon Prairie in today's edition of the Dallas Morning News. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from the Dallas Morning News.